in the headlines of this hour on VTV News. State President hosts welcome ceremony for Brazilian counterpart. Later on, strong earthquake strikes Southeast Asia, causes tremors in Vietnam. In our world news, U.S. pauses financial contributions to WTO.
Broadcasting from Hanoi, the capital of Vietnam. VTV News starts right now.
Good morning. It is 8 a.m. local time in Hanoi, and you're watching VTV News. I'm Huyền Trân with the top stories. The sacrifices of revolutionary veterans, soldiers, and people from all walks of life have ensured that the nation's victory lives on. Party General Secretary Tô Lâm reaffirmed this during a meeting on Friday with revolutionary veterans, meritorious individuals, and exemplary policy families from the Central Region, marking the 50th anniversary of the liberation of the South and national reunification.
Delegates representing 13 provinces expressed gratitude for the party and state's recognition and optimism about the country's progress. Party General Secretary Tô Lâm highlighted Vietnam's achievements over 50 years of reunification and nearly 40 years of renovation, emphasizing the nation's growing political and economic stature.
For 50 years, we have reflected on the resistance war and President Ho Chi Minh's legacy for national reunification. Today and always, we honor the sacrifices of the party, President Ho Chi Minh, and heroic martyrs.
Party General Secretary Tô Lâm expressed gratitude for contributions to national development and highlighted key achievements of the 13th Party Congress term. He outlined ongoing reforms, anti-corruption efforts, and preparations for the 14th Congress.
50 years after liberation of the South, we cherish peace, independence, and sovereignty, honoring past sacrifices. The nation must develop in stability and freedom, benefiting both our people and the region. Internal unity and solidarity are crucial to building lasting strength.
The party chief stressed the need for sustainable double-digit growth to escape the middle-income trap. He highlighted science, technology, education, and workforce development as key to national progress, aiming to create wealth and improve people's lives.
After 80 years of independence and 50 years of unity, if people continue to live in hardship, it is unacceptable. Economic growth must translate into true independence, freedom, and peace for the people.
Party General Secretary Tô Lâm affirmed that the future belongs to nations with great aspirations and unity, expressing confidence that under party leadership, Vietnam will build on its legacy to achieve new milestones.
A welcome ceremony hosted by State President Lương Cường for his Brazilian counterpart Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva was held at the Presidential Palace in Hanoi on Friday. Details to follow.
Brazilian President Lula da Silva visited Vietnam for the second time since 2008, becoming the first foreign leader to pay a state visit this year. State President Lương Cường highlighted the visit's significance following the upgrade of bilateral ties to a strategic partnership. He thanked Brazil for its past and ongoing support. President Lula da Silva praised Vietnam's achievements and affirmed Brazil's commitment to strengthening ties with Vietnam as part of its broader Asia-Pacific strategy. The leaders reviewed bilateral relations, agreed on measures to deepen cooperation. They pledged to maintain high-level exchanges, enhance economic cooperation, and explore a preferential trade agreement. Both sides committed to expanding collaboration in defense, security, science, clean energy, education, culture, and sports, while supporting multilateralism and peaceful dispute resolution. The visit concluded with the signing of key agreements, including on trade, employment, and football cooperation, followed by a joint press conference.
I sincerely thank President Lula da Silva and the Brazilian government for recognizing Vietnam as a market economy. We recognize Brazil's concerns and will actively consider them, including market access for beef products and potential partnerships with leading Brazilian corporations like JBS and Embraer.
Brazil exports more to Vietnam than to Portugal, the UK, or France. We have officially joined the group of countries recognizing Vietnam as a market economy. Opening Vietnam's market to Brazilian beef will encourage investment from meat processors, positioning Vietnam as a key export hub for Southeast Asia. We will work towards a balanced agreement with Vietnam that benefits both nations.
President Lula da Silva also invited State President Lung Kuang for an official visit, which was gladly accepted.
Party General Secretary To Lâm gave a reception in Hanoi on March 28th for visiting Brazilian President Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva, during which he affirmed the Vietnamese party and state value Brazil as a key partner in Vietnam's broader foreign policy in Latin America. And during the reception, the party chief praised the outcomes of the talks between President Lula da Silva and State President Lung Kuang, which culminated in the signing of the action plan for the Vietnam-Brazil strategic partnership for 2025 to 2030. Both leaders agreed on key directions to enhance their strategic partnership bilaterally and multilaterally. And additionally, Party General Secretary commended Brazil's recognition of Vietnam's market economy status and proposed joint efforts to negotiate a preferential trade framework with the Southern Common Market. Now, in a meeting at the government office on Friday, Prime Minister Pham Minh Chinh and Brazilian President Lula da Silva reaffirmed their commitment to deepening ties, aiming for a $15 billion trade turnover by 2030. This push comes as the two nations implement their newly established strategic partnership. Prime Minister Pham Minh Chinh thanked Brazil for recognizing Vietnam's market economy status and announced Vietnam's readiness to import Brazilian beef. In return, Vietnam seeks expanded market access for its trout fish and shrimp. The two leaders also highlighted the importance of cultural exchange with a focus on youth football development. Meeting with Brazilian President Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva in Hanoi on Friday, National Assembly Chairman Trần Thanh Mẫn welcomed his state visit to Vietnam, hailing the presence of President of the Brazilian Senate and National Congress Davi Samuel Alcolumbre and Speaker of the Brazilian Chamber of Deputies Hugo Mota Wanderley as a clear sign of robust support from the Brazilian Congress and government for the bilateral friendship and strategic partnership. National Assembly Chairman Trần Thanh Mẫn reaffirmed the Vietnamese National Assembly's backing for the Vietnam-Brazil strategic partnership, aiming to strengthen cooperation in areas such as national defense, agriculture, and digital transformation. He also emphasized the importance of recent cooperation agreements, including Brazil's recognition of Vietnam as a market economy. The leaders discussed enhancing bilateral relations and increasing exchanges of expertise. Earlier, Brazilian President laid a wreath at the Memorial of Fallen Heroes and Martyrs and also paid his respects at the Ho Chi Minh Mausoleum. On March 28th, at the 2025 Bình Định Investment Promotion Conference, Deputy Prime Minister Nguyễn Chí Dũng highly praised the competitive advantages and priority sectors for investment in the province. And during the conference, Bình Định Province awarded investment decisions and certificates of investment registration for 62 projects, with a total registered capital of over $9,000 billion. On this occasion, the Deputy Prime Minister also attended the inauguration of the road connecting National Highway 19 to the VSIP Bình Định Industrial Park and the flood drainage system project for the Dinh River in Quy Nhơn City, with a total investment of around $24 million. Ho Chi Minh City is implementing various solutions to attract investors, particularly in high-tech and semiconductor sectors. And as Vietnam's second largest digital economy hub, the city has significant advantages for establishing a multi-purpose high-tech center. and the center will integrate AI, big data, and semiconductor chip technologies to draw major global investors to the city.
The city's high-tech park is constructing a data center at this site that meets strict international standards, specifically designed to serve large-scale customers.
We have allocated land plots for transformer stations to support international data center investors. Staying proactive, we recently worked with a new investor looking to invest this year.
Businesses have assessed that Ho Chi Minh City offers key investment advantages, including available land plots, efficient site clearance and construction processes, and advanced development in digital economy and AI technology.
Incentives and policy support will improve accessibility and mobility. Investors will see that businesses, the private sector, and the government are all committed to providing support.
According to statistics, high-tech industries currently account for about 23% of Ho Chi Minh City's GRDP. The goal of increasing this to 40% by 2030, nearly doubling the current rate, presents significant challenges.
Internet of Things infrastructure investment is crucial for economic growth and accelerating the digital transition. We must also train a highly skilled workforce and build an ecosystem that integrates foreign enterprises with local human capital. This is key to sustainable development.
A key solution for attracting high-tech investment is the swift implementation of Resolution 57, which focuses on science and technology, innovation, and digital transformation. This implementation requires eliminating regulatory bottlenecks and developing a legal framework that creates competitive advantages for the sector.
The Ministry of Finance held a conference on investment funds and foreign investment in Vietnam's new era of development on Friday in Ho Chi Minh City. To achieve economic growth of 8% or higher this year, the State Securities Commission emphasizes that the stock markets must further enhance its role as a key medium and long-term capital mobilization channel. Current total assets under management at fund companies account for just 6% of GDP, and this leaves much room for expansion. The Ministry of Finance stated that it will soon introduce solutions to develop investment funds, thereby attracting more domestic and foreign capital. Coming up next on VTV News. Myanmar declares states of emergency after a huge earthquake. And we'll take a look at the story about organ donation, the gift of life.
When it comes to business, it's crucial to choose a smart location with global impact. And Vietnam might just be the location for you. Connect worldwide to advanced logistics networks. Smart hub for technology and innovation. A dynamic business ecosystem. An environment with a competitive edge.
Welcome back to VTV News. Now, a 7.7 magnitude earthquake recently struck Myanmar and Thailand, prompting both governments to declare a state of emergency in the affected areas. The full extent of the damage and casualties is still unknown, but is feared to be severe, with many people trapped under rubble. In Myanmar, buildings in Mandalay collapsed, and public structures in Nay Pyi Thaw, including the National Museum, were heavily damaged. In Thailand, a 30-story building under construction in Chaku Tak collapsed, killing 3 and trapping many inside. Initial reports suggest around 320 people were in the building when it fell. Both countries are assessing the damage and carrying out rescue operations, advising people to stay away from buildings at risk of collapse due to aftershocks. As reported, a significant earthquake in Myanmar sent noticeable tremors across Vietnam Friday afternoon. Residents in major cities like Hanoi and Ho Chi Minh City reported shaking buildings and furniture. The seismic activity originating over 1,000 kilometers away was felt in numerous provinces. While the epicenter was distant, the earthquake's force caused widespread alarm, particularly in high-rise buildings. Experts from the Institute of Earth Sciences are currently analyzing the event to provide further information. During the 21 years of the resistance war, in order to save the nation, many activities had to be carried out in secret in various places and at different times. And when the war ended, these secrets gradually came to light. The Alliance of the Forces of Nationalism, Democracy and Peace in Vietnam, also known as the Third Force, is a living testament to the spirit of national unity under the leadership of the party. The contributions of this force, especially on the political and diplomatic fronts, play a significant role in achieving the great victory on April 30th, half a century ago.
Saigon was in chaos during the final days of April 1975. Lawyer Trieu Quoc Mặn, a party member active in the Third Force, assumed the position of chief commander of the National Police in the city and Gia Dinh under urgent circumstances after losing contact with the organization.
I arrived to take command alone, unarmed, just with this tie. The situation at that time allowed me to act immediately. I gave the order for the entire police force not to shoot, release the prisoners immediately. That was very significant because if I had been slow, the old forces would have killed all the prisoners.
The National Archives Center 3 holds many documents about the Alliance of the Nationalist, Democratic, and Peace Forces of Vietnam, an organization created to unite patriotic urban citizens. The Alliance's declaration and action program played a key role in supporting military, political, and diplomatic struggles in the South. During Paris negotiations, Nguyen Thi Binh, Minister of Foreign Affairs of the Provisional Revolutionary Government, encouraged overseas Vietnamese intellectuals to return and join the Third Force.
Those people were truly courageous. For example, Ngo Ba Ton, who was repeatedly arrested, remained steadfast, saying, "We oppose the Thieu government. We demand the U.S. withdrawal." When the Paris Agreement was signed, it included a provision that, once the U.S. withdrew, a three-party government would be formed in South Vietnam, consisting of our side, the Saigon government, and those who were neither part of the front nor Saigon. The Third Force helped isolate the Saigon government even further.
From April 28th to April 30th, the Third Force continuously acted as a bridge between our delegation under David Cam and the government of Dương Văn Minh, aiming to quickly reach an agreement to end the war. The communication of information had some impact on the Saigon government in the final moments of the war.
In 1977, the front organizations contributed to the victory in the resistance against American imperialism, including the Alliance of Nationalist, Democratic, and Peace Forces, which completed its historic mission and held a Congress to unite under the common roof of the Vietnam Fatherland Front.
The Ministry of Public Security held a groundbreaking ceremony on Friday morning in Dak Bla Commune, Kon Tum City to launch a project eliminating makeshift and dilapidated houses across Central Highlands provinces. Currently, Kon Tum province has over 2,700 households classified as poor or near poor. Meanwhile, only 72% of available and mobilized funding for this housing project has been secured. And to address this, the Ministry of Public Security has coordinated efforts to mobilize over $3.2 million from benefactors. This enables the construction of 1,400 new houses, each provided with around $2,300 of support. Previously, over $14 million was allocated to Gia Lai and Cao Bằng provinces for the same cause. Vũ Thị Dung and her 3 children in Sóc Sơn, Hanoi had to bid farewell to their husband and father after he tragically passed away in a traffic accident. She sought his permission to donate his organs to help save others. And although they said goodbye, is not the final farewell, as his heart will continue to beat, offering hope to other patients.
Since their father passed away, Dũng took on the responsibility of picking up and dropping off his younger siblings, while Ha went to the market and cooked. These were tasks their father used to do when he was alive. Now that he's gone, the two siblings want to help their mother. Dũng and Hào want their mother to feel that their father is still always with the four of them.
Every time Dad came home, he would cook for the whole family. Now that he's gone, I will try my best to carry out his duties.
On the first week of anniversary of the memorial for their father, it was also the day the family received the news that the two patients who received his heart and liver had regained consciousness and were recovering well.
Before he passed away, I told him that this was a noble act of saving lives, and he agreed to donate his organs.
The small house will be without the presence of the pillar of the family from today. However, there will always be a strong emotional support for the mother and her three children.
Dad wanted me to study carefully so that I could have a good life in the future. I will try my best to work hard to make that happen.
The person who has passed away is a source of pride and motivation for the mother and her three children to continue living each day.
In our upcoming stories, U.S. pauses financial contributions to WTO. And Russia proposes formation of interim government in Ukraine. Moving on to other stories, the U.S. has temporarily halted its financial contributions to the World Trade Organization WTO amidst President Donald Trump's administration significantly reducing government spending and reassessing the effectiveness of participation in international organizations. During a WTO budget meeting on March 4th, a U.S. representative stated that advance payments for the WTO's 2024 to 2025 budget were paused while the participation's effectiveness is evaluated, with a final decision to be announced later. Previously, Trump signed an executive order instructing Secretary of State Marco Rubio to assess within 180 days whether international organizations' activities conflict with U.S. interests. As of the end of 2024, the total amount the U.S. has yet to contribute to the WTO is $43.4 million. Russian President Vladimir Putin recently proposed placing Ukraine under temporary administration to hold new elections, as the Russia-Ukraine conflict continues without resolution. He suggested a temporary government under the UN, the US, Europe, and other partners to organize democratic elections and form a trusted government capable of negotiating peace. Ukraine has not officially responded, but President Zelensky rejected elections under wartime conditions. The U.S. insists governance must align with Ukraine's constitution and people's will. European leaders pledge more military support and efforts for peace, while France and the UK propose peacekeepers, but it lacks consensus due to military and political concerns. Russia rejects European troop deployments, warning of escalating conflict. Adriano, Rome's first robotic employee, came into service on Thursday in the iconic ancient Roman temple of Hadrian and Via Sabina, welcoming tourists and providing information on the history of Rome. More to follow.
Adriano is equipped with artificial intelligence and advanced robotic hands with artificial muscles that allow it to shake hands and hold objects. The robot can provide information in both Italian and English about the history of Rome, but it is still learning as developers are working to add other languages to its software.
I am Robot Adriano, the first employee robot of the Chamber of Commerce of Rome.
It has the particularity of being elastic, so it can achieve a precise position. But if someone wants, for example, to hug the robot or shake hands, it does not have the rigidity of an industrial robot that can potentially hurt a person. We developed these robotics, and our laboratory is called soft robotics for a reason, precisely because the hand is soft, so it adapts to all objects.
The robot, equipped with 36 sensors for mapping and self-localization, has humanoid features that allow it to express emotions through realistic facial expressions, enabling more natural and engaging communication with users.
Rome is an ancient city, made 2,000 years ago, but it is also a city that looks to the future. We want to carry the greatness of Rome for another 2,000 years by using new technologies. In this, Adriano helps us narrate stories from 2,000 years ago, projected into the coming years.
Developers are working to allow a remote visit to the temple of Vibia Sabina and Hadrian through Adriano, offering a unique, immersive experience to those who cannot be physically present simply by being equipped with a visor.
Ho Chi Minh City's Metro Line 1 connecting Bến Thành to Suối Tiên has been recognized as one of the world's top 100 destinations by Time magazine. It stands as the only Vietnamese entry on this prestigious list this year. Time praised the new Metro line as a significant step forward in the city's public transportation system, offering visitors an effortless way to explore iconic locations like the Opera House and Nguyễn Huệ Walking Street. The Metro line is poised to transform the city's landscape, creating new opportunities for both locals and tourists. On March 28th, Phú Quốc National Park in Kiên Giang Province hosted a ceremony to honor 6 exceptional trees as Vietnam heritage trees. Among the trees recognized, one is a southern chai tree, also known as ironwood or tembusu, a large evergreen native to Southeast Asia, estimated to be around 700 years old. Another southern chai tree is over 600 years old. And these ancient, naturally grown trees are of great scientific, economic, environment, cultural, and historical significance, as well as offering potential for tourism. They also serve as green symbols of the protection of island sovereignty, tied closely to the history of exploration and development on the Phú Quốc Islands. And as usual, let's move on to the weather forecast. And that's all the news we have for this hour. To rewatch our program, you can download our mobile app VTVgo or check out our YouTube channel VTV4Go. Thank you for watching and see you next time.